Welcome. This video presents examples of sequencing activities using mind mapping software. This is James Franklin of PM Mapping. A mind map is an excellent tool to sequence activities. You can easily drag and drop activities, and it's also easy to enter predecessors using the Gantt view. Define activity sequence. This is where you're going to identify and document the logical relationships between activities. The logical relationships are going to include finish to start to start, and finish to finish. As we talked earlier, collaboration is the key when you're sequencing activities. You need to get with the subject matter experts, you need to review the activities, and again, it's very effective to use the sticky notes on a whiteboard. You can use the mind mapping software to capture the sticky notes and the relationships that the project team has placed on the whiteboard. Let's use the example of a backyard patio. So you work for a small construction company. This is your first project to manage, and it's the construction of a patio and a backyard. Let's look at some of the strategies that we can use for sequencing the activities. Let's first look at sequencing the pre-construction. We know that we first need to prepare the design package before we submit the permit application, because information that's included in the design package needs to be included in the permit application. At this point, I can easily drag and drop the design package. Let's look at the activities associated with the design package first. Prepare draft design package, prepare final design package approved. I would like to include the activity that the client reviews the design package. This could be 5 or 10 days, and if we do not include that activity, we can very easily miss the total duration for the design package. I can easily drag and drop the client reviews the design package beneath the prepare draft design package. That looks great now. So under the design package, I have prepare draft design package, client reviews design package, prepare final design package, and then a milestone design package approved. Let's now look at the permits. Prepare the permit application, city reviews permit application, permit approved. I think this is sufficient for this type of project. We don't need to include additional activities under permits. Under procurement, I'm going to award a subcontract to a concrete company to perform the patio installation, the patio construction. So I've included that activity. I've also included pre-construction approved. This is a milestone. Let's now look under construction. I have site development, clear and grub site, and pre-construction survey. The pre-construction survey, I need this information before I can prepare the design package. I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop the pre-construction survey to be within the design package work package. So under construction, the first activity is to clear and grub the site. This is just to remove any grass, vegetation from the concrete patio area, the footprint. Let's now look at the activities under the work package concrete patio. We have construct formwork, install rebar, place the concrete, remove formwork, concrete curing, and then concrete patio completed. One activity that does not appear in the correct sequence is remove the formwork. You have to first allow the concrete to cure for a certain number of days before you can remove the formwork. If you remove the formwork too quickly, then the concrete is not going to stay within the area and just kind of spread throughout, and that certainly would not be a happy customer if that was the case. Let's go ahead and place the remove formwork after concrete curing. Let's now look at the activities under post-construction. Construction certification report. This would just be a report that showed the as-built drawing of the patio. This could include preparing the draft construction certification report. Client reviews the draft construction certification report, and then based on any client comments that you receive, you would then prepare the final certification report. This is sufficient activity for this level of effort for this report. I don't need to include a separate level of the WBS or work package to include client comments. Let's now look at the activities for closeout. Client accepts patio, and then you would close out the purchase order with that subcontractor. This again is sufficient for this project. Let's now look at the Gantt view, and in the Gantt view we can go ahead and enter the predecessors. Before we start that, I like sequencing the activities in the mind map view. It's very easy to visually see the activities and see if they're in the correct order. You can then drag and drop those activities to place those activities in the correct order. It is a little bit tougher trying to reorder, sequence the activities in the Gantt view or if you're using MS Project. The step is to enter or select Gantt view. With the Gantt view, the software does an excellent job of conveying the schedule or Gantt view from the mind map. This is the same data, so you're not having to re-enter data or copy and paste from Excel into MS Project. I really like this seamless integration from going through the WBS to defining activities and then sequencing the activities and entering the predecessor. Let's first enter the predecessors. We'll first start with the design package. Before we can begin the design package, we first need to prepare the pre-construction survey. That would take place after contract award. I'm going to go ahead and enter 2. You can see the 2 matches up with the activity ID for contract award. At this point, all of these activities are finished to start. I can go ahead and use the chain link, first highlighting all of these activities. I can then select the link. And this link the selected tasks to make them dependent on each other. This creates the finish to start relationship. This is a good example of how you can see the Gantt bars reflecting the finish to start relationship. I have not entered the duration at this point. We'll go ahead and perform that step in MS Project. The next step is for the permits. We cannot submit the permit until the design package is approved. As I mentioned earlier, the permit application requires the contents of the design package. So I'll go ahead and enter 10, and the 10 reflects the ID of the design package approved. This is a finish to start relationship, and I will prepare the permit application after the design package is approved. The remaining activities for the permit are all finish to start relationship. So I'll use the same link. First, I'll highlight the activities within the predecessors, and I'll select the link. For procurement, I've decided to only include the activity award subcontractor. I use this subcontractor frequently. I don't need to go out for multiple bids. For this example, I want to award the subcontractor after the design package is approved and also after the permit is approved. So this would be activity ID 10 and activity ID 14. So I would go ahead and enter into the predecessors 10 and 14. I also have a milestone pre-construction approved, and in this case I need to just kind of stand back and see, okay, which activities need to be completed for this milestone to be completed, pre-construction approved. In this case, I have the design package approved, I have the permit approved, and I've awarded the subcontractor. So this will be 10, 14, and 16. Let's now look at the construction activities. To clear and grub the site, I must first have all the pre-construction approved. This would again be the design package and also the permits. I'll go ahead and take advantage of the milestone that I created, which is going to be activity ID 17. Once I clear and grub the site, I can then construct the concrete patio. We already resequenced the activities in the mind map view, so we are in good shape with respect to the sequence of the activities, and we can go ahead and enter the predecessors. I will construct the formwork after I've completed clearing and grubbing the site. I'll go ahead and enter activity ID 20. The remaining relationships are finished to start. I'll go ahead and highlight and then take advantage of the link button, select. Again, this shows a good view of how the Gantt bars have changed based on the finish to start relationship. Let's now look at the post-construction activities. The post-construction includes the construction certification report and also the closeout. For the construction certification report, preparing the draft construction certification report would start after the concrete patio is completed. I'll go ahead and enter activity ID 27. The remaining activities are all finished to start. I'll go ahead and select 27, highlight, and then select the link. Under closeout, the client accepts the patio. This would also take place once the concrete patio is completed. I'll go ahead and enter activity ID 27, and I'll also enter activity ID 34 after the client accepts the patio. This example demonstrated how I could go from the mind map, creating the WBS, the work packages, defining the activities, sequencing the activities, and then in the Gantt view, entering the predecessors. It's a good example showing mainly finish to start. We'll look at other examples with respect to start and finish to start and finish to finish in other examples. Thank you for listening to this video. Send me an email if you have questions. Have a great day. Thank you.